It's a great pleasure and a privilege to welcome you on behalf of the KfW delegation to our traditional reception at the World Bank meeting. And as every year, this is a great opportunity to say thank you for the support that we get from you for our financing programs, for our projects, for our funding activities. And I'm delighted that so many of you have joined our invitation today. There are two things that are different this year. The first thing is we are in Bali, that's obvious, and I hope you like our venue. The second thing is I would like to talk briefly today about an initiative that we have put together with the European Investment Bank and the Agence française de développement. And to that extent, I would like to introduce, although they need no introduction, Werner Hoyer, the President of the EIB, and Rémy Rioux, the CEO of AfD. Please join me on the podium. You are part of the initiative that I would briefly like to describe. It's very interesting how things develop, and the idea was born during a dinner in Luxembourg 4 months ago, hosted by Werner Hoyer for the board of KfW. And while we were discussing our various projects, a photo that went around the world came to my mind. The photo of a whale who died on a beach in Asia with a stomach full of plastic bottles. I don't know whether you remember. And yes, we all know how valuable the oceans are to us. 50% of all oxygen is generated by the oceans. 1/3 of the carbon dioxide that we produce is being absorbed by the oceans. 3 billion people are being fed by the oceans. So we maltreat this ocean. Already today there is more than 100 million tons of trash and plastic in the ocean, and every year we add 8 to 10 million in trash and plastic. And if we continue like that, in due course we may have more plastic than fish in the oceans. And this in mind, I said to Werner, look, we as development banks have to do something about it. And we will not be able to save the world, but we can make a contribution. And Werner was very enthusiastic immediately about it. So we put our teams to work, and then later Agence française joined us, and today we are pleased to announce that we commit to contribute in the next 5 years 2 billion of long-term finance for projects that clean, preserve, and protect the oceans. That is our commitment, and I'll hand over to Werner to tell us what we are really doing.
Well, thank you very much, Günther. Thank you very much for taking the initiative and inviting us here today to do this wonderful occasion of your traditional World Bank IMF meeting reception. Basically, you have said it all. I mean, we know about the urgency of the issue. Recently, we are getting more and more television pictures about this. And I think this goes to the heart of the people. It's an issue where we don't talk about something very abstract, we talk about something that is really moving people. And all the figures sometimes do not impress as much as pictures sometimes do. So we seize the occasion. The problem is not new. The ideas how to address the problem are not new, but I think it is time for a new initiative. And we are giving a relatively small first European response to a global problem. And if we want to be credible, we also have to look what we can do in front of our door. So let's be open on the global dimension of the whole thing, but let's see that we ourselves get our house in order. This initiative is, as I said, a first step. I believe the global community will have to think anew, and we'll have to think much more deeply and quantitatively, courageously. The momentum is there. I think we'll get a lot of support by the people, and therefore also by our political leaders, and we should do it.
Thank you, Werner.
lot, Günther. Thanks a lot, Werner, for the kind words. Well, no need to stress the importance of oceans. It's an SDG by itself now. We have COP15 in China 2 years from now, biodiversity. We certainly have to innovate and do more in this perspective. We even have a new department within AfD that is called 3 Oceans, because we are also intervening in French overseas territories and now with their neighbors to take this concern into account. I want to stress, like Werner, that this initiative, this podium, is all about Europe. It's all about joining forces. It's all about being at the front line on development and climate finance. And we are discussing a lot about the architecture of the international projection of Europe. But this is a concrete example that we find solution. We are able to be innovative, to be there on the main global issues. And I close by saying that on the other side of the place, we have very distinguished colleagues having lunch from the International Development Finance Club, the IDFC Club, that was founded 7 years ago, founded, as you know very well, by late Dr. Schröder, and we paid a very special tribute to him this morning during our IDFC annual meetings. And this group, this is the gathering of the 24 largest national and regional development banks, with a perfect regional balance: Asia, Africa, Latin America, oceans maybe. And these people, they are willing, they are craving somehow for recognition. They are waiting to have access to concessional resources. They are willing to co-finance, to cooperate with us. So there's something very important to do on oceans as well as on other SDGs and finance, to liaise, to do international cooperation with them in the kind of beauty of investment and development banks. So ocean is one example of that, but there are many others, and there are many others to come, because Europe has this unique capacity, being the first donor, the first investor, I would say the first sustainable development investor, which is now the new investment thesis of IDFC, to make a difference.